Over the past 100 years, the way we experience music has been revolutionised, with technology allowing the greatest performances to reach ever greater numbers of listeners. That's the legacy we're celebrating today in the centenary year of gramophone. Welcome to the 2023 Gramophone Classical Music Awards, a stream sponsored by IMG Artists. Hello, I'm James Jolly, Gramophone's Editor-in-Chief, and I'm at the University of Surrey in Guildford, the home of the celebrated Tonmeister course. This is where many generations of producers and engineers, sometimes both roles taken by the same person, have been trained. And this year's Gramophone Classical Music Awards numbered no fewer than 17 shortlisted recordings made by Tonmeister course alumni. And the course has a strong gramophone connection too, as its first director, John Borwick, was the magazine's audio director for 36 years. We may not play our music on gramophones anymore, we may not even encounter a physical manifestation either, but that hasn't stopped the glorious flow of great music making, great artistry and superb sound being captured for posterity. And that's something we'll be celebrating once again. This year, as last, we present the awards in association with Apple Music, who earlier this year launched a new app free of the other music genres, Apple Music Classical. We're also supported by GFPA, the Global Foundation for the Performing Arts, and once again we're presenting the awards in association with the BPI, the British Phonographic Industry. And we're delighted that our orchestra for the occasion is the London Mozart Players, led by Ruth Rogers. We've 11 recording awards as well as a number of special awards. The recording awards emerge from a voting process undertaken by our entire roster of reviewers, and that occupied us over the summer months. A long list of many hundred albums is reduced to just 6 per category. Then a single winner emerges in each of those categories, and finally, one of those 11 winners is named our Recording of the Year. The choral category reduced a highly eclectic trio of John Cage, Claudio Monteverdi and Maurice Ravel to a single winner, featuring one of the finest choirs on the planet. Directing the Latvian radio choir in some truly virtuoso singing of music by John Cage is Sigvard Skjava. Reviewing the Ondine album for gramophone, Ivan Moody commented that one is unsurprised by the unconventionality, but taken aback by the richness and variety of the final musical result. Well, Sigvard Skjava made the trip over from Latvia.
It might sound strange, but we are grateful to COVID pandemic. These 2 years that we were not able to meet our audience gave us time to reflect on musical works that have been important for the development of our ensemble. And this is how we came to John Cage music. John Cage has been included in our concerts several times. We would like to thank very much Reijo Kiljunen, Ondine label Ondine director, for helping us to take on this challenge. So thank you very much, and congratulations to all the other award winners.
Thank you.
The concerto category this year is sponsored by the Musicians' Union. Lined up were Elgar's Cello Concerto, transcribed for viola, alongside the Bloch Suite, played by Timothy Ridout with the BBC Symphony Orchestra, Harpsichord concertos by Kalabis, Krasa and Martineau, played by Mahan Esfahani with the Prague Radio Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Alexander Liebreich, and the Ravel piano concertos from Cédric Tiberghien and Les Siècles, conducted by François Xavier-Roth. Well, the winner is the Elgar Bloch coupling, played by Timothy Ridout with the BBC Symphony Orchestra and Martin Brabbins for Harmonia Mundi. Of the Elgar, Rob Cowan wrote, Timothy Ridout is a strong, personable player whose deft handling of the scherzo and heartfelt playing of the adagio make the concerto's central episodes exceptionally memorable. Well, Timothy Ridout joined us to collect his award and also performed a short piece by Frank Bridge, Pensiero, with the pianist Frank Dupree. A piece they've recorded for a new album inspired by the great British viola player Lionel Curtis, out next year.
I'd like to thank the BBC Symphony Orchestra, who were incredible partners in this recording, and it was just a joy recording with them. They played absolutely incredibly, and also they were so patient and flexible with me. In fact, it reminds me of one particular moment from the sessions. There was one phrase where, as I'm sure everyone here who's made recordings, sometimes you just can't get it the way that you really want it. And so after lunch, we'd put that movement to bed, but after lunch I came back to it and I said, okay, I've practiced all lunchtime and I think I can do it better now. And I was worried that people would be, I don't know, tired and just wanted to move on. But they had so much energy and I was greeted with these smiles of encouragement from the orchestra. And actually, thinking back to it now, it reminds me of a viola joke, which ends with the viola section chanting, "Give him another chance, give him another chance."
The chamber music category is sponsored again this year by Wigmore Hall, a venue justly renowned the world over and familiar to all three of our contenders. Prism 4, music by Bach, Beethoven and Mendelssohn, played by the Danish String Quartet. Mozart String Quintets, played by the Quatuor Eben with Antoine Tamesti, and the Gringolds Quartet in quartets by Schoenberg. Well, our Chamber Award goes to the Erato album of two Mozart string quintets, played by the Quatuor Eben with the viola player Antoine Tamesti. Richard Wigmore wrote that while it's always dangerous to nominate an outright winner in this inexhaustible music, the Eben are second to none in colour and vitality, and unrivalled in their lyrical tenderness. For me, they've become a new benchmark. Now, the Eben Quartet couldn't join us, so they sent us this message.
Good evening, dear music lovers. We are very, very happy to receive this prestigious award, but also very proud and honored to have been able, thanks to our dearest label, Warner Erato, to record two of our favorite pieces in the world with our best friend, Antoine Tamesti, the best violist also, in La Scène Musicale in Paris, in magnificent hall. This recording was a shock for us. It was during COVID time. Everybody was confined, but we had the chance to be allowed to meet, rehearse and record in the purest silence after so many months without playing together. You can imagine that with this music, which is the most sacred music, the most emotional, not from this world, and in this silence, in those very special conditions of COVID time, full of doubts, of concerns about music, you can imagine that we experienced a kind of resurrection. Mozart appeared to us as a miracle, as a medicine, and we couldn't stop being thankful to him, crying for him, being full of respect and admiration for him. We just simply hope that you will love this music as much as we do. Thank you so much.
The Contemporary Music category celebrates music written during the past 10 years, and this year, once again, our sponsors are the PPL and PRS for Music. Our three contenders this year are albums of music by Richard Corsten, James Dillon and Lotte Wieniawski for an album of orchestral works, and that's the one that took the award. Nicholas Collin conducts the Finnish Radio Symphony Orchestra in Sigla, a harp concerto featuring Sivan Margen as soloist, Flounce and Sedechim. As Guy Rickards wrote when reviewing the album, this is music that knows exactly where it's going and is happy to bring its audience along with it. Well, Lotte made the journey from Helsinki to be with us.
I'm very thankful for all the support I've been receiving from so many people during the years. It's a huge privilege to be able to get to write one's own music and then get it played so thoroughly and wonderfully. Thank you so much.
Every year, we honour a musician who has made a significant contribution to the art form over the course of a career, our Lifetime Achievement Award. It's an award sponsored by the Global Foundation for the Performing Arts. This year's recipient has graced the world's great operatic stages with elegance, charm and, of course, singing of rare distinction. If her operatic musical centre of gravity was the music of Mozart and Richard Strauss, her repertoire also took in the music of Britten, Stravinsky, Poulenc and many others, as well as the world of operetta, particularly in French, which earned her a huge following the other side of the Channel. She sang in many choral works, but her devotion to song would be worthy of an award alone. As a founder member of Graham Johnson's Songmaker's Almanac, she helped spearhead a new style of song recital and song recording and introduced a new generation to that most intimate of art forms. Here to remind you why Dame Felicity Lott was a favourite singer of conductors like Carlos Kleiber, Bernhard Haitink, Charles Becquerel, Simon Rattle, Mark Minkowski and many others as a glimpse of her unique artistry.
Not I with thine. My goodness, thank you so much. It's a huge honor, and I've had such a wonderful time, as you can probably see from that clip. I've had such fun and been so lucky. If I thank everybody that I should thank, we'll be here all night. But I had so many happy chances in my life. I met Graham Johnson when we were both students at the Royal Academy of Music. And so he was a huge influence on my life and was curious about all kinds of music and started Songmaker's Almanac. And we did a lot of recordings for Ted Perry, for Hyperion. And so Ted has been a hugely important person. I was really upset about, in my early career, I didn't have a recording company, and quite a lot of my colleagues did. But in the end, I worked with quite a lot of the people who've been winning prizes, and I'd like to thank all of them for trusting me a bit. I also, when I did my French degree, the head of the French department was a great expert, world expert on Victor Hugo. And after I'd stopped doing French and started doing singing, I met him in Paris, and he said, you should ask your record company to make a recording of settings of Victor Hugo. Of course, I didn't have a record company, but Graham and I did manage to persuade Harmonia Mundi to do such a recording, and then we did Baudelaire settings afterwards. And then with Chandos, for Brian Cousins, we did a lot of Strauss orchestral songs with the Scottish Orchestra, Scottish National Orchestra. And one day I turned up in Dundee, where we did all these recordings, and Naomi Yerve, who was the conductor and who hated rehearsing, really, he was terrific, because I was awful in rehearsal. I always said, please record everything, because the more we do it, the worse it gets. I mean, ideally, recording should be wonderful, because you've got the chance to go over it and get it how you really want it, but it never worked for me. You just get more hung up on whatever phrase it was that didn't work. Anyway, Naomi said, well, I'm going to record this sextet from Capriccio in these sessions. And I said, oh, gosh, I'd love to do the last scene one day. And he said, well, if we've got time at the end of the sessions, we'll do it. And I hadn't sung it for about 18 months and didn't have the score. But we did it anyway, and it's sort of spontaneous sounding. But I mean, working with Carlos Kleiber was quite extraordinary. Bernard Haitink was extraordinary and was the only successful audition I ever did in my life, because that was for Glyndebourne. And so I'm extremely grateful to Bernard and to Kleiber. And I did have I was doing Rosenkavalier at the Royal Opera House. And I'm a cheapskate, really, and I go on the bus everywhere. And I remember being in Paris doing Così fan tutti at the Opera Comique, and my mum and dad came over to see me, and we were waiting at the bus stop. I had a bit of a cold, and we were waiting at the bus stop to go to the theatre. My mother said, Kiri wouldn't do this. And then, so thinking of that, when I was singing at Covent Garden, singing Rosenkavalier at Covent Garden, I thought, well, I'll get a taxi. I won't get the bus this time, I'll get a taxi. So I said to the taxi driver, I wanted to go to Covent Garden, please. And he said, oh, doing a bit of shopping, are we? I said, no, actually, I'm going to sing. And he said, oh, can you just pitch up anywhere, or do you have to book your spot? Anyway, so thank you so much. Thank you.
The Label of the Year, sponsored by Stagecast, honours imagination, quality, flair and prodigious talent in a way that not only expands the riches of the recorded catalogue, but does so in a way that greatly enhances the breadth of our musical world. Since its foundation in Sweden 50 years ago, our 2023 Label of the Year has shone a bright new light into so many different corners of the classical music world, with its focus on editions. The complete works of Sibelius, the groundbreaking cycle of symphonies by Eduard Tubin, obscure trombone concertos, Debussy piano music, Scandinavian symphonies, the complete Bach cantatas, then Beethoven and Mahler symphonies by a former Gramophone Orchestra of the Year, the Minnesota Orchestra, and swathes of new music. Along the way, it has identified extraordinary talent. Not for nothing was the Grand Prix winner of the 2019 International Tchaikovsky competition, Alexandra Kantorov, already recording for the label. I refer, of course, to Robert von Baar's Bis Records, already the recipient of numerous Gramophone Awards down the years, and the home of last year's Gramophone Young Artist of the Year, Johann Dahliner. Here are some messages from Bis's artists in tribute to Robert von Baar, who also celebrates his 80th birthday this year.
Good evening, I'm Masaki Suzuki. I just got a very good news that Bis was awarded the Label of the Year by Gramophone. I really congratulate you from the bottom of heart. That was really, I'm very happy to hear that. We are working together for nearly 30 years now, and I really hope that we can go on in the future. Once again, congratulations.
I'd like to congratulate everyone at BIS for this fantastic achievement. Label of the Year at the Gramophone Awards is quite a coup, and a very happy 80th birthday as well to Robert von Baar. I feel very privileged to be a BIS artist. The quality of sound that they capture really is exceptional, and I wish them many happy decades to come.
Stop! Bad attack, take two. That was you and me 40 years ago in Naka Aula. But today we are not stoppable, particularly not you. I want to congratulate you today specifically for becoming Label of the Year of Gramophone. Bravo! Here is a little fanfare for you.
Congratulations to BIS Records and to Robert von Baar for this well-deserved recognition as Gramophone's Label of the Year. Your commitment to music, wherever it may be found, has allowed me to pursue dreams I thought I had to abandon many years ago. So congratulations on an amazing first 50 years, and all the very best for the next 50 years to come.
Terve Robert, huge congratulations to you and your entire team for this wonderful news. Robert, you have always encouraged me during my whole career, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm also so happy that you have been brave and wanted to record new music also. So, congratulations and thank you. BIS is the best.
To everybody at BIS, to Robert von Baar, to Rob Suff, to Team BIS, a huge, huge congratulations from Rocky and I here in London. Label of the Year, wonderful news. Well done. Bye!
Hi Robert, my heartfelt congratulations to the BIS team and the amazing producers for the Gramophone Award. I'm only surprised I didn't get it sooner. It has such an amazing catalogue and I'm so proud to have played a small part in it. I'm sure your legacy will continue for another 50 or 500 years in its new home. All the best.
Hi Robert, and congratulations on being awarded Label of the Year. I admire immensely the musical choices you took for all these years that made BIS so special. And I'm happy that many people are discovering this label more and more. I thank you again for your trust 10 years ago. I'm so happy of the projects we've done, and I'm very excited about what's to come next. So enjoy your evening to the fullest and talk to you soon.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Robert. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Congratulations on 50 years of BIS, and thank you for your support, and just congratulations, everything that you do to inspire musicians and music lovers.
Lots of love from all of us. Thank you.
Dear, what does one say after that? I had no idea. I really didn't. I'm humble. I thank Gramophone. I waited for this and hoped for this for many, many years, and now it finally became true. In a way, it is wrong that I'm standing here alone, because this is not, as everybody knows, it is not a one-man band. It used to be in the beginning, absolutely, but not now. And I'm so happy that all of the BIS gang, all 7 of us, are here and sitting here, and I want to give my homage to those people who have helped me along all these years. Sorry about that. That is what emotion does to you. From Andrew Barnett 37 years ago via Rob Suff, 33 years ago, until and down with Joachim, Sharon, and Jean-Pascal, down to Vanya, who just started with the company a year and a half ago. You should be up here. But however good we are, and we are actually quite good, it is the untold people, the artists, that should be here. The more than 2,000 artists we have employed during the years. Without them, we would be absolutely nothing, naught. I know that everybody is hoping or thinking that I should say something about the enormous thing that happened just in the industry, and I will. The acquisition of BIS through Apple. This is entirely good news, not only for me and the BIS team, or for Apple for that matter. It is actually good news for the business as such. When the biggest company in the world actually goes headlong into classical music with their buying of Primephonic, with the Apple app, which you have talked about before tonight, and now this. This is such a good news for classical music because it is not instead of all the others that are making such a brilliant job. It is in addition to. And that means good news for all of us and for all music. Thank you.
One artist, a pianist, has been a stalwart of the BIS catalogue since 2005, when he made an album of Scarlatti, described by Gramophone as a solo debut of superlative vitality and superfine sensitivity. He's Yevgeny Sudbin. His most recent BIS recording, there have been about 25 since that debut, is of his own transcription of Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet, alongside ballet suites, and a tremendous transcription of Glinka's Ruslan and Ludmilla overture. So Yevgeny Sudbin, joined by his daughter Bella, put our lovely Yamaha CFX through its paces in the Waltz of the Flowers from The Nutcracker. 3 years ago, we separated piano recordings from instrumental, not only to acknowledge what a golden age we're living through with pianists, but also to celebrate the amazing talent of musicians who play the organ or the harpsichord, the violin, the cello, or all of the remarkable soloists who regularly go into the recording studio. This year, our shortlisted 3 contain performances by an organist, Benjamin Allard, and 2 violinists, one of whom also plays the viola, Rachel Podger and Nurit Stark. And as if to endorse our decision to make BIS our label of the year, Nurit Stark's album of modern Hungarian music for solo violin or viola is our instrumental award winner. As Rob Cowan wrote in Gramophone, so quite a journey, one that's profoundly representative of the Hungarian musical psyche in the 20th century, and which is served by a musician whose talents certainly qualify her for the job of performing it.
This was the project I wanted to do all of my life since I was little. And Bartók always felt like a grandfather to me, and he is also kind of the spiritual father to all of these other composers. And I was not very strong verbally as a child, but very touched from whatever is going around me in my country, Israel, and the politics, and having so many difficulties to express it with words because I was never a person of words. And then suddenly hearing Bartók and the story about Bartók that became from being a patriot or a nationalist to a person of giving the world the idea of everybody is brothers through his research of folk melodies, traveling all over Europe and down to Africa and going until Asia. So this message is a message that I think also nowadays is a very, very strong message. And I want also to say that it was a huge influence on me, since all this music is so connected to the origins to its origins, the folk music. I have been listening so much all of my life to folk musicians, and especially folk violinists from East Europe, and I think these are really the queens and kings of the violin, and very, very inspiring. So I thank you very much, Gramophone, for this opportunity, and I'm very happy for this. Thank you.
The opera category this year is once again sponsored by Masquerade Opera. Our shortlist perfectly embraces the eclectic offerings in the field. Meyerbeer's Robert le Diable from Bordeaux, conducted by Mark Minkowski, Puccini's Turandot from Rome, conducted by Sir Antonio Pappano, and Sir Michael Tippett's The Midsummer Marriage from the London Philharmonic, conducted by Edward Gardner. And the winner is The Tippett, recorded live in London and featuring a cast of Robert Murray, Rachel Nichols, Ashley Riches, Jennifer France, Toby Spence, Claire Barnett-Jones, Joshua Bloom, Susan Bickley, the Chorus of English National Opera with the London Philharmonic Choir and Orchestra, conducted by the LPO's principal conductor, Edward Gardner. Ed Gardner was on tour with the LPO, but we caught up with him in Norway recently, where he moves next year from the Bergen Philharmonic, who kindly made this video, to the Norwegian National Opera and Ballet.
Hi, I'm sorry I can't be with you today. I'm with the LPO currently in Korea, on tour there. I'm thrilled to accept this Gramophone Award for Opera for Tippett's Midsummer Marriage with the LPO. It was my first concert as principal conductor, and I very well remember, the orchestra and I didn't know each other so well at this stage after COVID. I very well remember that first rehearsal when one of the principal players came up to me and said, "This is almost impossible." Well, luckily, almost impossible for the LPO isn't impossible at all, as they've shown on this recording. And I must also thank the LPO for their very brave, or should I say foolhardy, decision to allow me to go through with this at a time when we didn't even know how many people would be allowed on stage. It's a drug, this piece, like all Tippett's music, and although it feels career endangering in rehearsals, you're also completely intoxicated by its vivacity, its virtuosity, its playfulness. And I'm so happy we have a document of that one evening, which this recording is, that we put together. I have so many people to thank who were involved with it. A wonderful cast led by Rob Murray and Rachel Nichols. Our two choirs, the London Philharmonic Choir and English National Opera Chorus, who have a very special place in my heart with 9 years together as music director at English National Opera. And our recording engineers, thank you so much, Andrew, for the incredible work you did with it. Everyone at LPO Live, and Sally Groves, I think you're there tonight, Sally, and the Michael Tibbett Foundation in memory of Dennis Marks helped so much to make this recording possible. To finish off, I'd love to thank my wonderful orchestra, the London Philharmonic, for their great passion, virtuosity, and never giving up on this strange, great masterpiece. Thank you very much.
Early music this year saw 3 fine choral groups in contention. Harry Christophers and the 16 in music by William Byrd, Huelgas Ensemble and Paul van Nevel in polyphonic masses by Ludwig Daser, and Les Arts Florissants and Paul Agnew in madrigals by Carlo Gesualdo. Well, winning the category by quite a margin is the Deutsche Harmonia Mundi album of music by Ludwig Daser, a German Renaissance composer, sung by Huelgas Ensemble and Paul van Nevel, one of the great names in the continental European early music world for many decades now. As Edward Breen wrote of one of the masses, this is a brassy, sumptuous performance. I'm already looking forward to the next volume.
We are very pleased that just this CD received this award because of this completely unknown repertoire of the great composer Ludwig Daser, which, by the way, was also completely unknown for us before Paul van Nevel discovered it and transcribed it for this recording. But our deepest concern is not only to discover this unknown music, but to share it with the audience and to bring it back to life so that the audience gets the chance to feel the connection to this kind of higher harmony of this great polyphonic music of the Middle Ages and the Renaissance.
The piano category is sponsored by Yamaha, who also partnered us for our centenary concert at Wigmore Hall earlier this year. A terrific lineup of today's finest players resulted in a final trio of Marc-André Hamelin in Rags by William Bolcom, Dvorak's Poetic Tone Pictures, played by Leif Ove Ansnes, and piano works by Szymanowski, played by his compatriot Christian Zimmermann. Well, it's taken a few years for Christian Zimmermann to add a 7th Gramophone Award to his half dozen, but with this new album for DG, he's done it, and we were thrilled to welcome him back.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel gratitude to so many people for helping me doing this project. At first, I would like to express the gratitude to this country, which supported music of Szymanowski like no other country in Europe. BBC playing his music for decades and discovering this for the audience in England and in the world. To my former manager, who was the first one to actually book this music in a recital. He took the courage. I'm talking about Jasper Parrott. To my teacher, who introduced this music to me and played it for me when I looked for the first time at this, how difficult it was. And now playing this in a concert, sometimes I want to give up. But then I remember this viola joke, and and I give myself another chance. And lastly, to Yasu Toyota, who, when I didn't have the place to record it, he said, okay, if Deutsche Grammophon wants to do it, as is courageous to do this, I will give you my concert hall and you can work at night there. And at the end, to my wife and to my cat, to have stood the many hours of practicing of this music, you have no idea.
Our Young Artist Award, usually made to a musician under the age of 30, recognises extraordinary youthful talent and colossal promise for the future. And this award is sponsored by Classic FM. Reviewing Stella Chen's debut album of Schubert violin and piano music on Platoon, Charlotte Gardner wrote that this is the work of a thinking violinist who's been exploring this music for years. The American violinist is no stranger to prizes. In 2019, she took the grand prize of the Queen Elizabeth International Violin Competition. A year later, she carried off an Avery Fisher Career Grant and a Lincoln Center Emerging Artist Award. She's the inaugural recipient of the Robert Levin Award from Harvard University. Teachers and mentors have included Donald Weilerstein, Itzhak Perlman, Miriam Fried and Catherine Cho. Stella Chen received her doctorate from the Juilliard School, where she serves as a teaching assistant to her longtime mentor Li Lin. Well, Gramophone is delighted to add its name to her admirers by naming her our 2023 Young Artist of the Year. And she flew in from California to be with us and to perform Mozart's Rondo in C, Köchel 373. And she's joined by the London Mozart Players.
I tend to do what I'm not supposed to do in life, and my parents asked me very nicely not to be a violinist. I failed them on that. And I think if you asked anyone recording the Schubert Fantasy and all Schubert for a debut album is a very, very risky thing to do, and I decided to do that too. So I have to thank Platoon so much for your faith in me. I think Schubert's music, in addition to being just the most beautiful thing you can hear, is so vulnerable. I think he portrays vulnerability in a way that no one else can. And I often find that my thoughts are racing around in my head, and there's so much in the world that's so fast-paced and great and explosive and wonderful. But Schubert is the only time that I can slow down my thoughts and just live in the moment and in the music. So thank you, Platoon, thank you, Gramophone, and thank you for having me as a part of this wonderful celebration.
Our orchestral category is sponsored this year by Lark Music Insurance. Our 3 orchestral contenders this year saw the Berliner Philharmoniker playing music by Ruth Langor, the Danish National Symphony Orchestra in symphonies by Carl Nielsen, and music for strings played by the Symphonia of London. Well, our winner is the Deutsche Grammophon album of Carl Nielsen's Symphonies No. 4, The Inextinguishable, and 5, described by Edward Seckerson as quite marvellous performances. They're played by the Danish National Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Fabio Luisi. Well, Fabio Luisi was about to make his debut with the Berlin Philharmonic and was deep in rehearsals, but he sent us this message.
Thank you to Gramophone for the Orchestral Award given to the Danish National Symphony Orchestra. I am very proud to be chief conductor of this wonderful orchestra, and especially the journey we started in 2016 with the recording and playing in concerts of Carl Nielsen symphonies has been a very important and joyful one. It might seem a little bit strange that an Italian conductor and a Danish orchestra could be so successful in the interpretation of this Nordic music, but apparently bringing some Italian feelings to this composer, who, by the way, was in love with Italy, has shown a little bit a different aspect of the symphonies. This journey has been one of the most exciting journeys of my musician's life. I'm very thankful to Gramophone for recognizing the importance of this project. I'm thankful to Deutsche Grammophon for the trust this company put in the Danish National Symphony Orchestra and me, and thank you to all of you.
Now, our next performance came from another artist from the roster of our Label of the Year to fly the flag for Bis. The flautist, Sharon Bezaly, has a sizable Bis catalogue that ranges from classics of the flute repertoire, like the Mozart and Nielsen concertos, to modern works, as well as a huge amount of chamber music. Well, with the London Mozart players, she chose music by C.P.E. Bach.
Thank you.
Each year we make an award for an Artist of the Year, an award sponsored by Gramophone. This award is for an artist at the peak of their powers and who has enriched the recorded catalogue immensely. Even before we started to draw up a list of potentials, one artist demanded our attention for the sheer number of superb recordings, each one full of character, but each also offering something very special about her native repertoire, a repertoire that ranges down the centuries. The soprano Véronique Gens is no stranger to the Gramophone Awards, and she came over from Paris midway through performances at the Opéra Comique, and Gramophone presented her with a beautiful watch. Our new Artist of the Year also performed for us. She sang Reynaldo Hahn's La Dernière Valse, joined by the pianist Dylan Perez and the London Mozart Players.
Exploring unknown paths fascinates me, nourishes me, galvanizes me, and keeps me alive. Thank you for believing in my work, for appreciating it, and for doing me the honor this evening of rewarding it. I am and remain your humble servant, always at the service of music with a capital M. Merci beaucoup.
Now, as I said earlier, this award is sponsored by Gramophone, and a lot of their watches are inspired by music. So from Gramophone to Véronique Gens, we present her with a wonderful watch.
Merci beaucoup.
C'est pour la dernière fois, presse encore
Our Voice and Ensemble Award, sponsored by Medici TV, celebrates songs and arias with orchestral rather than piano accompaniment. And this year, our three contenders were Michael Spires for contratenor, Lisette Oropesa for Rossini and Donizetti French bel canto arias, and Véronique Gens and Sandrine Pillot for Rival. And the Alpha Classics album Rival with Véronique Gens and Sandrine Pillot, joined by Le Concert de la Loge, conducted by Julien Chauvin, took the prize. Richard Lawrence concluded his review by saying the two singers are magnificent.
Ever since making our debut together with William Christie, we have both retained a sense of complicity, even of belonging with the strange tribe of Berceaux, who emerged to grapple with an operatic world that seemed inaccessible and fascinating to us. Each of us, in her own way, has retained a deep attachment to this repertoire that forged us. If we have conquered other musical territories in the meantime, to come back to it today is a delicious pleasure.
We introduced the Concept Album Award 4 years ago to acknowledge an increasingly rich new vein of presenting music. It goes beyond simply imaginative programming, in that the sum is immensely more than its parts. The old is often juxtaposed with the new, and that new music often gains immeasurably from its context. Stories are told, and the notion of an album rather than highlights tracks is strengthened. This year's Concept Album Award, which we present in partnership with Nordhoff Robbins, goes to a recording on Delphian called Battle Cry, She Speaks. The singer is one of the rising stars of today, the mezzo Helen Charleston, and she's joined by the theorbo player Toby Carr in works that embrace the 16th century, music by John Eccles, Johannes Kapsberger and Claudio Monteverdi, the 17th century, music by Henry Purcell, Barbara Strozzi and Robert de Visset, to the 21st century, the powerful Battle Cry by Owen Park. It's a thrilling and often thought-provoking concept, and it's hard to imagine it done better than here. And Helen and Toby joined us.
This is a programme that spent a very long time circling round and round and round my brain, and it never quite found where it would land, let alone what it was going to be called. And I feel it's important to say that it's rooted in an unapologetic adoration of music that's very extreme, very emotional, sometimes sensual, and full of what it is to be a human. At its centre is an extraordinary woman whose music has taught me so much about how to be a singer. Barbara Strozzi has an immensely direct style and overwhelming sense of imagination, which emboldens me today to be the singer that I am and to bring this programme to life. I hope that at 400 years' distance, what we've done with her music and her legacy would make her proud. And it is a we. Toby, you are a wonderful collaborator and friend, and it's an utter joy to make music with you. Thank you. Thank you for your gorgeous playing, your endless knowledge of the repertoire, which is very useful to me, and being on board when I suggested we commission Owen to write us these new songs.
The song category is sponsored by Anderson Financial. Our contenders were the complete songs of Henri Duparc, the pianist Malcolm Martineau, joined by Sarah Connolly, Nicky Spence, Hugh Montague-Rendell and William Thomas. The complete songs of Gabriel Fauré, sung by Cyrille Dubois and Tristan Raës at the piano. And Schubert's Schwanengesang, sung by André Schouen with Daniel Haider. The winner, I can reveal by a country mile, was the Fauré songs on Aparté from Cyrille Dubois and Tristan Raës. Perfectly timed for the Fauré centenary next year. Now, Cyrille has one of the most beautiful lyric tenor voices of today. For many of us, our first encounter was on the Erato recording of Berlioz' Les Troyens a few years ago, a former recording of the year. Well, he and Tristan treated us to a Fauré song.
So we are so thankful to all these partners in crime we had during this unique journey through Fauré's music. First of all, the Cordes Sensibles Foundation, also the Palazzetto Bruzane, who is rarely away from any French craziness, the team at Integral Music, and finally, the team of our label, Aparté, who supported us in any sense, and especially our sound engineer, Ignace, who is really the third leg of this duet and built this amazing sound. And all believed in these crazy projects, which could not have occurred without them. So thank you all. Thank you so much to the Gramophone jury for the recognition and of the value of this work. Be sure we put all our souls into it. A moment like this is not only validates what you have achieved, but also inspires us to carry on this path. So, as you say in your country, onwards and upwards.
Our Orchestra of the Year award is made in association with Apple Music Classical and is the only public vote. We come up with a short list of 10 ensembles who have grabbed our attention on record, and we hand the voting over to our readers and music lovers the world over. Well, this year we attracted 34,103 votes, and 21% of those votes went to an ensemble that has forged a unique role in musical life, with its flexibility, its dynamism, and its wonderfully fresh approach to a very broad repertoire. So, as the orchestra approaches its 20 years association with its artistic director, Paavo Järvi, I'm delighted to reveal that Gramophone's Orchestra of the Year 2023 is the Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie, Bremen.
Dear friends, I'm thrilled that Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie has been voted the Orchestra of the Year by a great Gramophone magazine, our musical Bible. It also is very special because it comes just at our anniversary of 20 years of marriage. We've been together for 20 years, and that makes, for me personally, it very meaningful. It also means a lot to me that people have recognized all our efforts on behalf of all the wonderful German composers, Beethoven, Brahms, Schumann, and now Haydn, that we are in the process of making. This orchestra is really one of the kind. It has a truly entrepreneurial spirit. The orchestra is self-governed and very democratic. And this award really shows how much recognition and how much respect this orchestra has worldwide. I like very much the fact that this award is an audience award. People who voted for us, and our tours for the last 20 years of relentless touring has really made the fan base incredibly impressive. And I thank everybody who have voted for us. I thank Gramophone, and most importantly, I thank my colleagues and dear friends, my family of Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie Bremen. Thank you very much.
And I have to thank beforehand Paavo Järvi. We saw him on the video, and he is such an immeasurable figure in our game that I can't express that properly. He's truly part of the family. We are now together for 20 years, and we know even longer, 29 years, and he's the one who accompanied us artistically through all these amazing success until here. Of course, it's an audience prize, and therefore it's a prize of our network, which is globally that what we appreciate a lot. Of course, we do have a strong focus in Germany and an even stronger focus in Bremen, where we take pride to be at home. And our pride is even bigger tonight as we are accompanied by the Prime Minister of the state of Bremen to receive this award, Dr. Andreas Bovenschulte. Cordially welcome. He sends a very strong signal in these times how relevant classical music is for our society by coming here. And we appreciate that a lot. And last but not least, if we guys from the North Sea shore are good in something, then it's our judgment of lighthouses. And if there is a lighthouse in classical music that deserves it to be mentioned, then it's Gramophone. What you're doing with your journal, yes, please, applaud. The beacon that you nurture and maintain here in London is so immensely necessary in these times. We hope you are just simply continuing your great work, and we thank you very much for receiving this award out of your hands. Thank you.
The Spatial Audio Award, another one made in association with Apple Music Classical, turns the spotlight on the technology of recording, and here the immersive experience offered by Dolby Atmos. And what more appropriate award to announce than here at the home of the University of Surrey's Tonmeister course. In this, our centenary year, we've chosen to celebrate the art of the engineers who returned to a classic recording and made it a vibrant new experience. In 1964, Sir George Solti, Decca, John Culshaw, the Vienna Philharmonic, and an extraordinary cast released the final instalment of what has since become known as the Solti Ring, or the Decca Ring. That final instalment was actually the cycle's second part, Die Walküre, and the amazing studio production has made it one of the Gramophone's truly classic achievements. Building on the work of the original engineers, Gordon Parry, assisted by James Locke and James Brown, Philip Siney with the producer Dominic Fife have given us a stunning new Dolby Atmos remastering, and we're delighted to acknowledge their work with this year's Spatial Audio Award.
Well, I feel like a very poor substitute, to be honest, but I will do my best. He would be so thrilled. I'm sure he's looking down on us. We came in tonight and we're sitting on table 21, and that's a special number. That was his birthday. So I'm sure he's watching over, and he'll be thrilled with all the new talent that's out there and how the recording industry is still so alive and well and vibrant. It would have made him so happy.
Well, that's all the awards, except one, the Recording of the Year. Now, as I said at the start, from the 11 category winners, one emerges after a morning of debate and dissent at a special gathering of critics. So before I reveal our 2023 Recording of the Year, here's a reminder of the field. And to accompany it, the London Mozart Players, led by Ruth Rogers, play Starburst by Jessie Montgomery. From those 11 recordings, I'm delighted to reveal that the 2023 Gramophone Recording of the Year is Carl Nielsen's Symphonies No. 4 and 5, a Deutsche Grammophon recording played by the Danish National Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Fabio Luisi.
We are very proud and honored to be here with you, and thank you so much, Gramophone. And our orchestra is so thrilled to be nominated, and they are going to shout and really having a party tomorrow after our concert. And thank you so much, and we are so glad to be here. Thank you for all the prize winners and the music, so inspiring. And yeah, I think it's going to be the for us milestone we can take as a motivation to be even on higher level. Thank you so much.
Well, that's it for another year. Our thanks to Gramophone's peerless panel of reviewers. And to all the artists who performed for us. Hearing music live and up close remains such an honour and a privilege, and it's something we take for granted at our peril. Huge thanks to our partners, Apple Music Classical, the BPI, the London Mozart Players, and the Global Foundation for the Performing Arts, and to all our category sponsors. Without them, we couldn't have put on such an event, and to IMG Artists for sponsoring this stream. I'm going to leave you in the company of Joseph Haydn and the London Mozart Players. Here's the finale of his Symphony number 44.